I would have to go back to prior to third grade, and you can imagine my age then. I was born in Pittsburgh, PA, and we were there until my grandmother was getting ready for retirement age. Then she brought us to Pennsylvania in the mountains where our mother was. Sixth grade was the last year I completed school. I didn't even complete that grade. And that's when all the craziness started in the household and this man my mother had. So what started happening is that he started following me. And that's when the molestation started. And then in 55, I had my first child. I was 1 month of being, I was 12 years old. 55, my daughter was born. 57, my son was born. 1957, they took me, I was 14, not quite 14. One night they took me to Virginia and married me to this man that she had been living with all these years, who was an old man to me. He had to have been in his 50s or whatever. And she still continued to live with him, knew what he was doing to me. Not only molesting me, but physically abusing me in her presence. In 58, I had another son. 59, I had a daughter. 61, I had another son. And all of that, the molestation, the physical abuse, never sent me back to school. The baby I had in 61, I woke up one morning, he was dead. Our housing was in a home with an elderly couple where I was responsible for their care and cooking their food for rent because this man didn't have a job. So there I was with my 4 children in one room with him and my 4 children. We all stayed in the same room. My oldest ones were 55 and 57. They remember a lot of the abuse. It affected them profoundly in their life. But then when I look at it, it had to be the Lord that brought me through that because I was getting a mind of my own. I was 18. I planned to leave. I was going to run away. Again, I give the Lord the credit for giving me some self-esteem. When he started on me, I turned on him and fought back and called the police on him, and he left town walking, and I never saw him again. Got my children together, got on a bus with trash bags and left with those 5 kids. I was just questioning the Lord because I'd been through so much. And I started with a neighbor girlfriend going to the Salvation Army with her. And that would have been around 64, 65. But when I started going to church regularly, to the core, we had home league. I put my girls in sunbeams, and then when they got older, they went to Girl Guards. I sent them to camp. My boys, they all learned to swim there and done the camps. And I went to home league, so I was getting into myself. I was 20, maybe by then. No, I was 18, 19, around those years. I started night school so that I could improve my conditions. And that's what I did until I left Huntington. I dropped out of the Corps for a while, but the Lord always led me back. And I think it was because the Salvation Army was my safe haven. When I was a young girl who was in trouble, who was being abused, and I had these children to raise. So I always was led back to the core, and I think it's because it was a safe haven and the Lord led me this way. And I learned more about the Lord. Never turned away. Of course, the things that they do, if you have a need, and a single mother, lights sometime didn't get the bill, didn't get paid, they would always support me. Clothing. If I had to go to the kitchen and get things. So they always were here for me, and I know that was the work of the Lord. Since 1972, I've been continuing here at the Salvation Army. And I've brought my grandchildren. I brought 3 generations here because I have great grandchildren, so I've brought them to church. Christmas time, I would work with helping give out things. All of that I had learned. I'd help in the kitchen when they had affairs and things. But the crock, when they opened this was like heaven. So I started joining adult ministries. And of course, a lot of the women and men who were going to adult ministries for the seniors, they were swimming. Well, I had never learned how to do all that because I didn't have a childhood. I was raising kids. So all that I got into, I started taking exercises. I would go and wade in the water because I was afraid of the water, but I'm no longer afraid of the water. But at my age, 77 years old, learning to swim. And I got through it. And of course, I'm still learning about the Lord here at the Salvation Army. And it's been a blessing, and still is, that I'm here to talk about it. That's where I am today. I just turned 78 years old a few weeks ago, and I'm still in the Corps. And I thank God, and I thank the Salvation Army for being there for me. They never turned the door, never closed the door on me. There was never any reason. When they found out that I was being abused, they advised me on what I could do. But the Lord worked that out. And I'm just thrilled and motivated to come here 4 and 5 days a week and keep moving. It has improved my livelihood. That I'm retired now, I have more time for myself, so I'm still moving. So God continues to bless me through the Salvation Army.